Hi everyone. Today we're going to look at writing an introduction for a question on A Christmas Carol. Now, in my previous video, we've already looked at this particular question. So watch that, see me planning my answer for that question, and then come back and watch this one, because now we're going to start the actual writing. So our question is, starting with this extract, how does Dickens present Scrooge as an unlikable character? And in our introduction, we need to do two things. Firstly, we're going to answer the question, and secondly, we're going to address a key concept. So what we need to do is make sure that we are clear on our answer to the question. So I've kind of got three options, I think, for this one. The first one is yes, he is unlikable. Second one, actually, he is quite likable. And the third one, he changes across the novel. Okay, so have a little think. You can pause the video if you need to. Which one of those do you most agree with? Right, so yes, he's unlikable, definitely, at the start of the novel, 100%. Actually, he's quite likable. Not sure that there's much evidence for that at the start, but probably towards the end there is some. And then the final one, this is the most likely, he changes across the novel. So he's unlikable at the start, becomes more likable at the end after his epiphany. Second thing we need to think about then is our key concepts. And I've got some examples of these on the screen. To write about a key concept, these sentence starters are really useful. So Dickens teaches us that, Dickens warns us about, and Dickens criticises. And on the other side of the screen, I've got the concepts that you can match those sentence starters up with. So that capitalism and individualism is immoral, that people should act as benevolent capitalists to support their communities rather than as miserly individualists, the dangers of greed and selfishness, that transformation is possible, but it is never too late to embrace benevolence. So you could mix and match those to get your key concept. Okay, here's my waggle then, my example of an introduction. In this extract from the start of his allegorical novella, Dickens presents Scrooge as unlikable because he is miserly and misanthropic. However, as the novella progresses, Dickens reveals how Scrooge changes to become more likable as he has an epiphany and becomes more benevolent. Through this, Dickens teaches us that transformation from capitalism is possible and that it is never too late to embrace generosity. So I've highlighted some things here. This first bit of my introduction you could learn as a sentence starter. So in this extract from the start of his allegorical novella, Dickens presents, and all you would need to do is tweak the start to the middle, the end, depending on what the extract is. And that first sentence essentially gives me a clear answer to the question. He's unlikable at the start. Then I've put in the next bit, so slightly more complicated. He changes as the novel progresses. And my final sentence, this is my key concept sentence. Through this, Dickens teaches us that, etc., etc. There are lots of different ways to write an introduction though, and don't feel like you need to stick slavishly to the sentence starters in the previous slide, although you can use them if you want. So here's a couple of alternative approaches, saying the same things but in slightly different ways. And it is important for you to find your own writing style that you feel comfortable with. So here we go. Our alternative approach. In the early stages of A Christmas Carol, Dickens portrays Scrooge as a cold-hearted, selfish man whose miserly ways and misanthropic nature make him an unlikable figure. Yet, as the novella progresses, Scrooge experiences a dramatic shift in character, becoming more caring and charitable after a life-changing realization. Dickens uses this transformation to demonstrate that change is not only possible but essential, offering a critique of capitalist attitudes and suggesting that embracing generosity is always within reach, no matter one's past. So that's another option. Our third option then, in the opening of his allegorical novella, Dickens introduces Scrooge as a character who is both miserly and misanthropic, making him immediately unappealing to his readers. However, as the story unfolds, Dickens portrays Scrooge's transformation into a more empathetic and generous figure, showing that even the most hardened individual can experience an epiphany and change. Through this metamorphosis, Dickens conveys the message that it's never too late to embrace kindness and challenge the dehumanizing effects of capitalism. So as I say, you want to find your own writing style, you will find particular phrases or sentence starters that are going to work best for you, and it's absolutely fine as long as what you say about the text is accurate. Okay, your turn now. What I want you to do is stop the video, because the video is almost going to end. Stop the video and write your introduction. If it's helpful, go back a little bit so you can see the sentence starters on the screen and use them to write your intro. Okay, thanks very much, guys. I'll check out the next video where I'm going to be looking at how to write a P paragraph.